I'm excited, and I want to introduce you all to another student leader who's serving as one of our co-hosts of today's symposium, Zion Mayo. She's a student in North Carolina A&T University, but also a member of our friendship chapter on campus there. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Zion.
Hello, how are you all? I'm a little nervous, so it's my first time kind of speaking. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited about speaking about um diversity, especially with disabilities, because it's important to me and to other people who have like a disability on A&T's campus. I'm excited to be here. I'm really excited. I am a political science major. I'm an advocate for people with disabilities at A&T State University. And it's really important to me because I grew up with the disability ever since like I was like a little girl, and like growing into growing into it, I've always like not been ashamed of my disability, but kind of just been like ashamed like a little bit. So being here, it's important to me. It's really important to me. It's important like for other people to speak about disabilities because in like the Black and brown community, it feels like we always have to like put it under like the rug. So to be here and like talk to you all about it is very important. It's very important, and I'm excited. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you ready to introduce our next panelist?
Yes.
Okay. Zion, if you just want to read off those names to us and introduce our guests, we appreciate it.
Yes. So we have David Quilleon. He's a senior VP of Global Mission State Development and Operations for Best Buddy International. Vanessa Ocana is a member of the Young Leaders Council for Best Buddies International. Liz Wolford, Director, Mission Operations, Best Buddies International. Doug Peters is a senior programs manager for Best Buddies in Georgia. And Alex Mrakovich, sorry if I spelled it wrong. I said it wrong, but he's a deputy director. Deputy director, Jobs, Best Buddy International. So welcome you all. We're so glad that you're here.
Thank you so much, Zion. Thank you. Thank you. Great job.
Well, thank you so much, Zion.
Trying to get out of the slide here. And so our first speaker today, folks, is going to be David Quilleon. As Zion pointed out, he's our Senior VP of Global Mission, State Development and Operations at Best Buddies International. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over to David, and he's going to share a little bit about our organization as a whole and our mission and the work he does at Best Buddies and how we can get involved.
Sure. Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you all for being a part of this Lunch and Learn. We're so grateful to have all of you here, and super grateful for your interest in Best Buddies. And it's always a pleasure to be able to share this work with individuals and be able to help expand the mission of Best Buddies. So yes, my name is David Quilleon, and I serve as the Senior Vice President, Global Mission, State Development and Operations for Best Buddies. And I oversee all of our worldwide programs, really to just be able to implement the mission of Best Buddies, which is this global volunteer movement that is creating opportunities for one-to-one friendships, for integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I like to just give a little overview sometimes just around the verbiage that we use at Best Buddies. When we are referring to individuals with IDD, it's a community of individuals that may have Down syndrome, autism, Fragile X, Williams syndrome, cerebral palsy, maybe a traumatic brain injury, or other undiagnosed disabilities. In fact, actually the majority of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities fall under that other undiagnosed disability. So I'm a sibling of two individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, which is how I got involved in this work and really wanting to make sure that my siblings had opportunities to be able to have friends and experience life within their school and within their community in the same way that I was doing within my school. And when I met Anthony Shriver as a college student, I was able to be part of helping to start Best Buddies at the University of South Florida. And really, the minute that we were able to have this opportunity for my brother Ken and my sister Kendra to have a friend that was not their mom or their dad or their little brother, it was just a game changer, and their world opened up in so many really exciting ways. And I think it's when you think about, our friendships and the friends that we have in life, the friends, those are the people that are there for us really during difficult times. Our friends help us get jobs. They help us connect to new opportunities in life. They stand up for you if when you're going through a difficult time. They stand up for you maybe when you're getting married or falling in love. They friends are really an important aspect, I think, of all of our lives. And for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, many times, they're very isolated, and they don't have the same opportunities to be able to be integrated into their schools. Even today, in the year 2023, of all the work that we've done and accomplished within Best Buddies for this, 200 million people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, there's still individuals that are having separate lunches and separate transportation, and that don't have the opportunities to be able to integrate with their peers without disabilities. So when we can bring them together and have them develop social skills, that's going to be able to help them secure jobs. It's going to be able to help them be able to live independently in the future. It's going to give them the confidence, and maybe their friends will be able to help them take public transportation. Also, Best Buddies around that leadership ideas, really helping individuals with intellectual disabilities develop their public speaking, self-advocacy, and communication skills, and overall just feel valued by society. So that's the work that we're doing at Best Buddies. And we the idea of our organization is that we truly want to put ourselves out of business. Like, we want to create a world where an organization like Best Buddies isn't even ever needed, that people will automatically include individuals with disabilities, and that they'll insist that it's important to be able to have them included in their workplaces, and for them to be able to have jobs and be able to have the same opportunities that all of us have in the world. So it's a big goal, and I know that there's still a lot of work to be done, and that's why conversations like this during a lunch and learn, being able to share with all of you, is really, really important to our overall mission of Best Buddies, because we want everyone to find a way to say yes to getting involved in Best Buddies. And there's a way that every single one of you can be engaged in our organization, whether it's as a future employee, as a volunteer, as a post on social media, as an e-buddy. And I'm excited for the other panelists to be able to share a bit about how you can continue to get involved in Best Buddies, and what our work looks like in a more granular way.
David, thank you so much for being with us today and just sharing. Folks, we will share out these slides post today in the symposium, so know that. But David's done some amazing work for us, and I just appreciate your leadership and support of this symposium. Thank you for being here with us.
Sure. No, I'm super glad to be here and to be able to learn right alongside of you too, about how we can better be more engaged with HBCUs and really continue to make a huge impact for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So thanks, Joe.
Absolutely. Thank you. And David, there you go. Little joke. Thank you. So next up, we have Vanessa Ocana, who's going to share a little about her about YLC, our Young Leaders Council. her involved,
Yes.
ways you can get involved.
Thank you. A little bit about me first is I attended the 2019 Friendship Walk, and since then I've joined multiple programs in Best Buddies, including Friendship, so colleges, citizens, and e-buddies. I've also joined the leadership development as a state ambassador and a speech coach, integrated employment, and inclusive living under the membership model, and also a member of the Young Leaders Council. And I also serve on the Friendship Walk Committee and as Champion of the Year. And now to the Young Leaders Council. When we can get this slide. So a little bit about the Young Leaders Council. It's a diverse group of young leaders of all abilities who bridge the gap between the participant perspective and staff experience for Best Buddies International initiatives. Comprised of 24 members from around the United States and Canada, individuals conceptualize, design, and execute unique initiatives that apply to all aspects of the Best Buddies ecosystem: friendship, integrated employment, leadership development, and inclusive living. The YLC is dedicated to leaders' education, engagement, and empowerment in Best Buddies through peer-to-peer support and innovation. Some of the initiatives that I've been a part of include accessibility, integrated employment, mental health and wellness, and the YouTube initiative. Next slide, please. And some of our local impact. We have a DEIA corner. So every month the YLC publishes a DEIA corner in their newsletter. YLC members discuss topics related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. Some examples include the Hidden Disabilities Sunflower Initiative and accessibility in chapter events. The next local impact is our DEIA nights. These calls provide a safe environment for members of the YLC to have a difficult yet increasingly important conversations around diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibilities. Discussions have ranged from Barbie's new diversity line and Pottery Barn, creating accessible furniture, and how Best Buddies can improve accessibility both as a chapter and on an international level. These opportunities are not necessarily designed to produce effective solutions. However, they are an opportunity to gain a new perspective on the topic. And lastly, our blogs initiative. Each week, the YLC publishes a new story related to some component of Best Buddies or the IDD community. Many of these blogs have featured DEIA topics, including but not limited to celebrating Black History Month, accessibility in the dorm rooms, and creating inclusive work environments and Disability Pride Month.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for that great insight into the Young Leaders Council. Folks, I got to tell you, YLC does some amazing work. They are those boots on the ground. They're doing some great work. You've talked to two members today, actually, and Paul and Vanessa. So I'm glad to have you here and sharing insights. And if you are a university, part of a university or faculty member or leadership, please reach out to us. Please reach out to Vanessa or to our team. We can definitely plug you in. We love to have your students get involved. We love to find ways to engage. So again, Vanessa, thank you for being with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Next up, we have Liz Wolford, who's our Director of Mission Operations at Best Buddies International.
Great. Thanks so much, Joe. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here. So as Joe and Zion said, my name is Liz Wolford. I have been fortunate to be with Best Buddies for many years and hold a variety of positions within the organization as it has changed and grown, which has given me a wonderful opportunity to work with our various friendship programs and see how they develop and the power of what our community members can do when they believe in what we're doing and engage with our mission and really take that step forward to connect with others in their community. So it's been fabulous. Part of my role as Director of Mission Operations is working with our friendship staff, supporting our programs and our staff throughout the state as they work to do that in their direct communities. And one of the things I also do is work with onboarding our new friendship program staff. So as they join Best Buddies, I have the great privilege of being able to work with them to really help them understand the mission and what they'll be doing in their communities, and really be empowered to go out and drive our mission forward in the areas that they work. And another key part of what I do is work with our eBuddies program, which is our virtual friendship program. I've been part of that team for many, many years, and really enjoy that program. So just want to share a little bit about that. eBuddies, like I said, is our virtual friendship program. We do similar to our other friendship programs in creating one-to-one friendships, but it is purely online, which really allows the opportunity for people from around the world to connect with one another, and make the world feel like a smaller place. So we have 3 different ways that you can do that. You can be matched in a one-to-one friendship, you can join our community platform, or you can attend our virtual events. We have events probably 3 to 5 times a month. Our platform is a social platform that is open to approved eBuddies members, and it's a great way to meet other people, be parts of special discussion groups. We have special interest groups that focus on things like book clubs or cooking or outside exploration or all things Harry Potter. So things that really interest you, you can join those and meet a community of people that have the similar interest. And then again, our one-to-one friendships. One of the key differences in eBuddies versus our other in-person programs, beyond us being virtual, is that we don't match people that live in the same state. So you are matched in a peer friendship, but you are matched with someone who is in a different state or perhaps a different country. eBuddies is open to members throughout the world. We do ask that they be able to communicate in English, but we have approximately just over 50 countries, I think, that participate right now in eBuddies. So someone here in North Carolina, or I heard one of the schools from South Carolina chatting earlier, could very easily be matched in a friendship with someone from Australia and really be able to connect that way. So some of the benefits, like I've mentioned, really expanding social connections. We've heard other speakers talk about the importance of friendships and those connections and what they mean. eBuddies helps to do that. You can be involved in our in-person programs and eBuddies simultaneously. So it really allows you to expand that network. There's opportunities for leadership development, much like our in-person chapters. We have leaders who help to build out the eBuddies community and lead those groups, plan events, and help to promote what we're doing and serve as a leader in that community. Academic and personal growth in terms of, again, being able to connect, communicate in a virtual space, understanding social boundaries in that way, how to communicate with people, and connect in a virtual setting, because that is much different than in that face-to-face setting. And finally, accessibility. With it being virtual, it is something that can fit into anyone's schedule. They don't have to worry about transportation or timing or all of those other things, or even in-person social anxiety that sometimes people have. In the virtual space, you're allowed to connect in a way that works for you at all times. And then quickly, by the numbers, we are excited that we have over 1,500 members currently active on our community platform, almost 1,700 matches, and as you can see there, over 4,700 members worldwide. And our community, our eBuddies community overall continues to grow. So I encourage you, we have the website there, definitely encourage you to take a minute, learn more about it, and encourage you to become involved. It's a great way to connect with our mission and meet other people from throughout the world that you might not normally be able to come in contact with.
Liz, thank you so much for sharing this amazing resource with folks. And I think it's a great opportunity to be matched and look at opportunities. The fact you could be in another, have a buddy in another country, I think it's super cool. So thank you again for being with us. Thank you for your support to the organizations, for your service. Folks, we're going to move now to Doug Peters. Doug is our Senior Programs Manager out of Best Buddies, Georgia. Doug, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Joe. As Joe mentioned, my name is Doug Peters, and I am the Senior Program Manager with Best Buddies in Georgia. In terms of my role and what it means, it's like super multifaceted, and I wear a lot of hats. But I'm pretty much the go-to person for all things Georgia programs with Best Buddies in Georgia, with the exception of the jobs program, which my colleague Ashanti leads. Shout out to Ashanti, she's amazing, as well as our inclusive living program, which we are launching this fall and will be led by another member of the team we have not hired yet. So one of my primary functions of my role includes outreach, recruiting, and sharing information about Best Buddies in Georgia programs to K through 12 schools and colleges throughout the state of Georgia. When I initially started with Best Buddies last year in August 2022, we had 21 chapters, and today we're at 44 chapters as of this morning. I independently train, assist, and provide direct support and resources to all 44 and growing Best Buddies school chapters throughout North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, Middle Georgia, and South Georgia. I had the honor of working with some of the most incredible human beings on the planet who just so happen to serve as our faculty advisors and student leaders and setting them up for success. We currently have 10 elementary schools, 7 middle schools, 21 high schools, and 6 colleges with us. Another function of my role is that I individually manage and lead events and recruitment efforts through our Atlanta Metro Citizens Friendship Program, which matches adults with IDD to adults without IDD so they can form a meaningful friendship. Our Adult Citizens Program has 66 members and 28 matches, and we host events once a month on Saturdays. And lastly, I direct, recruit, and lead training exercises with the Best Buddies in Georgia Ambassador Program, which prepares participants with and without IDD to advocate for themselves through public speaking. We currently have 23 ambassadors in the state of Georgia as of now. So in terms of how to get involved with Best Buddies in Georgia, the first way is to, pretty much start a chapter. We would love to work with HBCUs as well as minority serving institutions. I feel like my HBCUs and MSI serve a very crucial role in representation, and I would love to meet with you. So with that said, please feel free to reach out to me with my, at my email address, which is dougpeters@bestbuddies.org. And I'll be more than happy to schedule a conversation to bring a Best Buddies chapter to your campus. You could also schedule a Zoom meeting with me directly via my Calendly link, which is listed on the presentation, which is www.calendly.com/Doug Peters. So just to really quickly, in order for us to have an existing presence on your school, we will need to get approval from your student life office, have a staff or a faculty member to serve as a faculty advisor, as well as a host site, which is a community-based organization that directly serves individuals 18 years of age or older with IDD. Another way that you can get involved would be to, assist with our leadership development component, which is to facilitate ambassador training. So I'm pretty much free to collaborate with any existing student organization or department in Georgia to visit your campus to host an ambassador training at your school. I could also bring along one of our state ambassadors along with me to this training as well. And in terms with our Atlanta Metro Citizens Program, we're always searching for a few great people to serve as peer buddies. So please consider making a lifelong friend while participating in fun activities with our inclusive community of adults with and without IDD in Metro Atlanta. You can apply by visiting www.bestbuddies.org/join and selecting Georgia and Citizens. And last but not least, with integrated employment, I know that my colleague Ashanti, she's looking for ambitious, self-motivated, and dependable college students to serve as interns with our jobs program. And I'm also looking for at least 2 hybrid interns to serve as volunteer leads to assist with managing our Atlanta Metro Citizens Program. So for more information about jobs, please feel free to email Ashanti at ashantiallman@bestbuddies.org. And for more information about serving as a volunteer lead, please feel free to email me at dougpeters@bestbuddies.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you so much for giving that informative presentation, and I will definitely be connecting you with the schools in the area. You got some work to do. I'm excited about this. Thank you to Ashanti as well, to your point. We appreciate all your work you're doing, Doug. Every time I hear from you, you're going and going and going. We appreciate your service and all that you do for Best Buddies. Thank you. Next up, Alex Mrakovich. Alex is our Deputy Director of Jobs for Best Buddies International. And he's going to share a little bit how you about jobs, our jobs program, and how you can get engaged and some of the impact that we're making really all over the world.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. It's truly an honor to be here and be a part of this conversation. Really grateful.
Thank you.
I'm on the national jobs team. I'm Alex Mrakovich, Deputy Director of Jobs. And our jobs program, we're in 14 countries, 20 states, and 36 in the US. We are growing. And what we do, we represent one of our 4 key mission pillars. And we really secure jobs for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We take a very person-centered approach to find an employer, to find the right role that matches with an individual's skills, their goals, what they're passionate about, and what they need in terms of accommodations and support. We're there for the life cycle of an employment. So we go from, the job skill discovery phase where you're learning about yourself, what you're interested in, to preparing for an interview, through the interview process, through the life cycle of employment. So I think, the jobs program is really unique in that way. I found Best Buddies. I had a background in higher education and student services, and actually worked for another organization as an employment consultant, and found myself in Los Angeles looking for a job. Like a lot of our participants, I applied to so many different fields, interviewed for a lot of different positions, and found myself a finalist for a position at Whole Foods in their HR department for their corporate office. I didn't get the job, but the VP who interviewed me called me back and said, "Hey, we have this incredible local partnership with Best Buddies. I want to get you connected to their leadership. I think you might be a good fit." And I had never experienced that before, where you didn't get a job, but they actually call you back because the partnership, because the relationship was so strong. So I ended up as an employment consultant, a job coach with the LA team, and have been with Best Buddies ever since. It has just been an absolute incredible ride. In terms of, as I think about how Best Buddies jobs can be a resource and a value add to HBCUs, I want to share a story. You can go to the next slide. I want to tell you the story of Lonnie, who is a jobs participant I worked with in Chicago. Lonnie has a disability. He lives in the south side of Chicago. And like many students who will graduate from HBCUs, he was a recent college graduate with a degree in music. Now, Lonnie came to Best Buddies because he was looking for his first job. He had some volunteer experience. He had played concerts before. As you can see here, he's an accomplished cello player. He was open to retail as well as office positions, but really his passion was music. He studied it. He wanted to find a job that he could grow that passion and skill of his. So together we looked at, different positions. We applied to all sorts of companies and employers in the Chicago area. And he ended up interviewing and secured a job with the Lyric Opera House of Chicago. Now this picture here was taken 2 months ago because Lonnie was playing a concert with the Chicago Philharmonic Orchestra in Chinatown. And he reached out to me and he said, "Alex, I really want you to come to this concert. Would you and your wife attend?" It's like, of course. So we showed up to the concert and met Lonnie's mom. And it turns out that 15 of his coworkers and his supervisor attended this concert. They took time out of their schedule to support Lonnie, who not only was a coworker, but had become a friend. And so here you can see this journey, right? From recent college graduate to looking for a first-time job to being really a friend and finding community and support in a job that aligns with his passion. If you can go to the next slide, I think the power and impact of our jobs program, you can see here that historically, people with disabilities have been directly or indirectly denied access to employment opportunities based on their disability status. The statistic is that 85% of people with disabilities do not have a paid job in the community. And then you can see here with segregation, people with disabilities are provided employment opportunities in isolation from people without disabilities, often being paid some minimum wages. And sadly, this still occurs today. We still see discrimination. We still see, people with disabilities who might, be paid several dollars an hour at a workshop setting. Then we move into integration, where people with disabilities are hired to work alongside employees without disabilities, but require the support of outside agencies to adjust to the requirements of the job. Agencies such as Best Buddies that can help kind of add that support. But what I think is powerful about Lonnie's story is it moves into this final piece of full inclusion. Because really at Best Buddies, as David said, our vision is to go out of business. Inclusion is our finish line. And as Dr. Fields helpfully illustrated earlier, talking about this difference between integration and full inclusion. Full inclusion is people with and without disabilities working together with a natural support system in an environment that values everyone's unique strengths. And, here Lonnie is not only supported by Best Buddies, but he's supported by the full organization. And he gets to support his coworkers as well. So I think the power and impact of Best Buddies jobs is we work with both our participants, but also with employers and companies that want to become more inclusive, that want to, have a place where everyone belongs, where everyone's values and skills are valued. So that's a little bit, I could say a lot more, but as your students are getting ready to graduate and look for employment, Best Buddies jobs can be a great part of their journey, and all of our great journey to full inclusion in the world.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, David, Vanessa, Liz. We appreciate you all so much sharing how folks can get involved. I want to kind of go a little bit deeper in the discussion. You've been here with us for a little while today already, and want to just ask you all from your perspectives and your different roles, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, Alex. You've touched on how people get involved, but I really want to find out more just from your perspective. You could share what that process would look like a little bit more for people to understand what needs to take place to actually get involved, I guess, from start to finish. Doug, you shared some things, you shared some contact information. I think it'd be good for people to hear that one more time. So if you don't mind, just kind of all of you going through that question once more, and then we'll get into a little more about just your experience with Best Buddies. So Alex, we'll start with you since you ended, and then we'll go back around.
Yeah, I think the great thing about Best Buddies is all of our pillars, from friendship, ambassadors, inclusive living, jobs, they really work in tandem. So I would say, start, if you're in an HBCU, start with the friendship program, because there you can gain some of those social skills, the connection that will then lead, to employment. We are in 20 states. So our jobs program isn't everywhere, but we're expanding. And so start where Best Buddies is closest to you. So oftentimes that's going to be on a college campus. And then, as Doug brought up earlier, for Georgia, the next step for jobs would be Ashanti. So, but I think starting with friendship and those college chapters in college is a really a wonderful place to start as an HBCU student.
Thank you, Alex. Doug?
Yeah, so I fully agree with Alex. It's just super easy to start a friendship chapter, and being that I'm pretty much the go-to person to make that happen, the next steps will be scheduling a meeting with me, and I will visit you wherever you're at. We can meet up for coffee, or we could go to a Zoom call, whichever you prefer. But that would be a good first initial step, would be to start a friendship chapter and, scheduling a conversation with me. In terms of the ambassador training, same thing, just because I'm pretty much running all programs in Georgia. So you could pretty much reach out to me and just tell me what you want to do or how you want to be involved, and I can lead you in the right direction.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Liz.
Great. I'm going to echo. I think friendship is a great way to initially engage in our mission. As we've said, there are lots of program availability. We're talking a lot about the colleges. I obviously talked a lot about eBuddies. We have all the different grade levels. And for those outside of Georgia, there's definitely ways to get involved in your state as well. David might touch upon that, so I won't go too far into that. But what I would say about eBuddies is visiting the website. The information in our application is all available online. eBuddies is completely virtual. One of the things I wanted to mention, and Joe, thanks for asking this question, is we start as young as 13 years old. So you can get involved as young as 13, and there is no maximum age. So when we talk about that full life cycle experience in Best Buddies, that's definitely what all of our programs build upon one another to lend and to create. eBuddies is one of those programs that you really could get involved in as young as 13. And if it is working for you and you are enjoying it, you could still be in your 60s and still involved in the program. We have people that have been matched in the same friendship for 20 plus years, which is amazing to see. So for us, it's completing the application process, going through that screening process, and then once you're approved, you're allowed to, you're invited to join the community, attend events, and we try to match you as soon as possible.
Awesome, Liz. Thank you. 13. I love that. I love that. Vanessa.
Okay, so there are a few ways you can support. Just like listening to ideas and making sure that you have a diverse group of people on your board, which is something that the YLC strives for. And some other ways you can support, I've mentioned like our blogs and our DIA corner. You can gain access to that through our link tree, which I'll drop the link in the chat.
Can I ask? Perfect.
And watching our videos, like Joe said, we do a lot of work, and a lot of it is you can view on your own time, like watching our videos or listening to our podcasts and things like that. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. Last but not least, David.
All right. Well, this is one of my favorite questions, Joe, and I think it's as simple as just saying yes. Yes, I want a Best Buddies chapter at my school. Yes, I want my siblings to have Best Buddies in their high school. Yes, I want my nephews and my cousins and my nieces and everybody in my family to have Best Buddies in their middle school or in their elementary school, and helping to connect Best Buddies to individuals that really want to make sure that inclusion lives in each one of those places. So raising your hand, saying, I want to be a leader in that area, and sending an email to info@bestbuddies.org, following us on Instagram, following us on Facebook, connecting with me on LinkedIn, wherever your social media strategy leads you, we have a place for you to raise your hand and say yes. And our team will be in touch with you on all the next steps and help you every single step of the way.
I love it, David. It is as simple as saying yes. We appreciate that. Would anyone else like to share any last closing remarks before we end this Lunch and Learn? Okay.
I guess I was about to say, I guess because I didn't share, how I got connected with Best Buddies. So
That'd be great.
Really quickly, yeah. So full transparency, I found out about Best Buddies from LinkedIn. I had no prior knowledge that this organization existed beforehand. And so it's super, super important for, if you want a Best Buddies chapter to, happen at your school or happen at, any connecting schools, to reach out, because a lot of people don't know these resources exist. And so, I applaud you for just, tuning into this symposium and learning more information, because the more information that is spread, the more people know about it and the more people will hopefully become involved. So.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that either. So appreciate that. Is anyone else that's with us right now? Do you have any questions for our panel here that you'd like to ask before we conclude our time together for this panel. All right. I want to thank you all for giving your time. I know everybody's extremely busy. Each of you, Liz, Vanessa, David, Doug, Alex, thank you all so much for taking some time out to share and to be a part of this very important discussion around accessibility and inclusion and how we might be able to connect with HBCUs and MSIs. So always appreciate it. Always, always. Thank you all so much. And I hope you enjoy your afternoons. If you stay with us, we appreciate it. If not, thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Joe.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Best buddies.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks.
Go Best
everyone.
Buddies.
Bye, everyone.